Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time. It's not the best out of my favorite games, and even if my opinion is that it's the best of the Souls games, that title is so competitive that I would completely understand handing it off to almost any other game on the roster. But Bloodborne's eldritch horror, Victorian aesthetic, and aggressive combat style really changed something in my brain chemistry. It has inspired my art, my aesthetics, my writing, etc., and I'm sure it inspired many others as well. I love this game and it means a lot to me, which is unfortunate because Sony keeps an iron grip on this IP while also refusing to let anyone else do anything with it. This video won't be a breakdown of lore or story, as there are many videos you can watch that are very good and of much better audio quality. But who knows, maybe one day I'll make my own video about my interpretation of the lore. Gotta feed the fandom something before they breach containment. But Bloodborne turns 10 this year, and if I finish the script in time, this day. So I thought I'd commemorate it with a small video. It's the least I can do for something that's given me so much inspiration over the years.
Torture from Wikipedia, the free and
like a lot of Souls games, once you get used to the difficulty of Bloodborne, it really isn't that hard. A lot of people like to associate the difficulty with these games with their egos, but I don't know, I enjoy a challenge, and Bloodborne is challenging and fun, but it strikes a balance between enjoyable difficulty and pre-patch Consort Radahn. Some of my favorite moments in these games just beating a challenge. Like the bosses are outlasting a bunch of goons trying to give you a facelift with their rusty spoons. Are there bullshit moments? Of course, fucking hell, yes there is. The boss runbacks can be a fucking nightmare even with shortcuts, especially ones like Logarius in the Shadows of Yharnam. And the less I say about Lawrence, the better. But even then, they have some good quality about them, like the designs and music. The combat of Bloodborne is probably the most unique out of the Souls franchise outside of Sekiro, which is essentially a rhythm game with just a smidge more violence than normal. Bloodborne's combat rejects the beta male shield and embraces the caveman unga bunga mentality of me hit you with big stick. Oh, and also, you have a fucking gun that you use to parry people from afar. No shield for this motherfucker, I'm gonna rearrange your colon through your ears, you fucking— Owie.
He's so ugly! I love him!
As I said before, Bloodborne was one of my main inspirations when it came to my general art style. Something about it just clicked with me, and whenever I go back to it, I'm immediately immersed in the world. Don't get me wrong, I love Dark Souls, Elden Ring, etc., but Bloodborne's unique aesthetic of Eldritch and Victorian changed my brain chemistry. The environments are varying and beautiful, or horrible and disgusting, and that's what I love about it. It's flexible with its art style. My favorite areas are Fishing Hamlet, Research Hall, Upper Cathedral Ward, Jesus Christ, fucking hell, Old Yharnam, and the Hunter's Nightmare. But I like them all, to be frank. Birkenworth was a disappointment in terms of size, but it was beautiful to look at. And while I dislike playing in the worst level, the Nightmare Frontier, the aesthetic is chef's kiss. Mwah. And the music is by far the best in the series. In my opinion, get your Dorito hands off that keyboard. Even if I rag on Lawrence, his soundtrack is absolutely gorgeous and fits his story very nicely. It's just sad that that's the only good part about him.
Yep, sometimes I gotta beat the ladies off with a stick. Back, woman! Back, I said!
The bosses in Bloodborne are so good, man. Even if there are real stinkers, they have some fun qualities to them, or at least qualities that are good. And the ones that are great are top-notch. Everyone and their mother knows that Ludwig is considered one of the best bosses in the franchise, and that is for good reason. His moveset, the music, the twist, the story, it's so good. Despite this, he's actually not my favorite boss in the game. I know it's a sin to say that, but trust me, he's still up there. Nah, my favorite fight is actually a tie between Maria and Orphan for different reasons. Orphan is just a crazy-ass baby who makes me cry with her lore, and Maria, while not the hardest, certainly makes me hard. Seriously though, she's great. Her lack of supreme difficulty is made up by the sheer spectacle of the fight, the music, and the fact that it's more like a dance than a bloody brawl. That being said though, Bloodborne does have a few smelly stinkers in this department. Mikolash is annoying as shit, Rum is a dumbass who throws rocks at you, and Lawrence— Oh, and also, the Chalice dungeons are dog water. I'm not even gonna defend them, man. They're so bad.
Wait, what's wrong with you?
I'm in love.
With who?
The Queen of England.
But isn't she about 90 years old now?
The characters in Bloodborne are one of the best in the series, with most just not having a happy ending, but that's just Miyazaki for you, so. It really sells the tragedy of this world, with Gascoigne being the epitome of this. Either his whole family dies, or his 2 daughters are orphaned in this horrible place. Even the Eldritch Great Ones are pitiable. Evritas is stuck under a church and exploited for her blood. Kossa's physical form and her baby were taken from her. And even the implications of the Moon Presence just wanting a child of her own is, again, pitiable. That's what I love about Bloodborne's story. Almost everybody is a victim. A victim of an exploitative system used against them. Because the thing about Bloodborne's story is that, unlike a lot of Eldritch horrors, the horror doesn't come from the unexplainable, it comes from the very explainable. Like the exploitation that the church carries on innocent people. In terms of NPCs, my favorites are definitely Eileen, Jura, and Gascoigne. Gascoigne had a whole ass fucking NPC thing going on before they cut it from the final product, which, again, is very much a Francois staple. But their dialogue is fantastic.
Yes, very good. I no longer dream, but I was once a hunter too. There's nothing more horrific than a hunt. In case you fail to realize, the things you hunt, they're not beasts. They're people.
Their stories are great.
What are you still doing here? Enough trembling in your boots. A hunter must hunt.
And they're all very hot, if I were to say so myself. Oh, also, the Chapel Dweller. I love him so much. I know many people don't like the way soul stories are oftentimes presented, which is vague in item descriptions and easy to miss dialogue. But with the Lovecraftian influence that Bloodborne has, I feel like it works better here than most of the other games. Many Lovecraft stories are about somebody from the outside discovering a horrible truth about the world by digging in too deep, and, well, that is exactly what Bloodborne is. So, is Bloodborne a perfect game? Absolutely not. It has flaws, but none of them really detract too much from it to make me change my mind. Am I biased? Of course I am. This game means so much to me, and it inspired a big chunk of my artistic identity. When I first beat Cleric Beast, I got that fucking high that never really went away. I've been chasing it ever since, and whenever I do play Bloodborne, I still get it. It never gets old for me. It's a wonderful game, and I love it to pieces, which is unfortunate, because like I said, Sony really hates people looking at it and doing something with it, because by God, only they can sit on their asses and not do anything with it. Just like, please Sony, a crumb of Bloodborne now be enough to satiate me for the entire year. Also, there will be some videos that I recommend watching or listening to in the description below. Some of them are lore videos, and some of them are analysis videos about their own personal takes, and I think they're all very good, so go ahead and check them out.